Hey, I'm John.
And I'm Becky.
And this is the We Are for Good podcast.
Nonprofits are faced with more challenges to accomplish their missions and the growing pressure to do more, raise more, and be more for the causes that improve our world.
We're here to learn with you from some of the best in the industry, bringing the most innovative ideas, inspirational stories, all to create an impact uprising.
So welcome to the good community. We're nonprofit professionals, philanthropists, world changers, and rabid fans who are striving to bring a little more goodness into the world.
So let's get started. Becky, look at you in your Thunder tee.
I'm grinning. I am not in the We Are for Good blue. I am in Thunder blue today.
Yeah, you are.
It is an epic conversation that we're about to have on the podcast because we have Erin Oldfield in the house. She is the VP of Community Engagement and the Executive Director of the Thunder Community Foundation. And y'all, we are going to be talking about how to bring community impact, community partnerships to bear when you have won a freaking national championship and what that does to rally a city. So it's a good day in the We Are for Good house because we are going to share the story from the heart of Oklahoma City, our hometown, because the Thunder just brought home their first NBA championship. So John, you
just
knew
casual,
that though, right?
I did know. Even
great.
the adjacent non-sports fans keep up with these things.
Yes. I mean, this is such an epic conversation for me. I love sports. I love the Thunder. But the thing is, we're not just celebrating the championship. We are celebrating the power of philanthropy that has drifted off this beautiful story. So we are excited that Erin's in the house today. She is truly leading this movement of impact and connection across Oklahoma. I can tell you, I was a part of it. I gathered with like 600,000 of my friends for the parade in like 100-degree heat, melting my face off, but to watch the energy and connection of how community comes together around this aligned celebration. So we're going to dive in today what it looks like when a championship team uses its platform to uplift community, empower youth, and spark generosity that goes so far beyond the arena. I am so proud of the culture that the Thunder has built, and we want to learn about how y'all did that. So, Erin, welcome to the We Are for Good podcast. We are psyched you are here.
I am psyched to be here. I am the one who's fangirling, and I'm just so excited to be here on the show. For all the guests that you have, I'm just really excited to be part of what you guys are doing. And it's a thrilling time to be here in Oklahoma City, coming off the championship. It's actually game day here today. So all kinds of good energy and good vibes, but we started over 0-0, or now 3-0.
Hey, we've won a lot of preseason games. I would just like to get in there and say, but we're going to get into the Thunder. But before we do, we want to know you, Erin. Like, you are such an incredible impact soul. You have driven purpose in our hometown, and we just kind of want to know your story. So take us back. Tell us about little Erin and how she got into this role.
Little Erin, oh my gosh, I'd have to go way back. I've always just been one who wants to give back to the community and make people better. I think whether that was my first babysitting gig and I would bring boxes of crafts, to see people be better, reading storybooks. And then finally, just through my education, I actually have kind of a strange pathway to sports. I think most people are like, oh, were you a sports management major? I was like, no. I actually worked in the arts for a long time, but it was community focused. My role previously here, I worked in museums and art education and just used a different toolbox to give people knowledge about museums and how to look at artwork, to fill young people with the tools and resources that they needed to, bring their artwork to life. It was storytelling then, and it's storytelling now. And I had worked in the arts pretty much my whole career in nonprofits and loved that feeling of being able to connect veterans with arts, working with Boys and Girls Club, working with different populations, but my toolbox was arts. And I kind of came to this realization. I was part of a really impactful program here in Oklahoma City, where we went to different areas around the state of Oklahoma to look at economic impact that the arts make. And I remember saying to a colleague of mine, like, do you think that there's something bigger? And I didn't really know what it meant at the time. And I thought like, well, maybe my next step is being an executive director at a nonprofit. And I'm like, hop online and I'm looking at, there's this one website, like if you're looking for a job in nonprofits, it's where you go. And I log on and I'm sifting through and there is this job posting, Director Community Relations, Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm like, wow, okay, what is that? I was a huge Thunder fan. To be honest, I never anticipated working in sports. I didn't go to the Thunder to see what jobs they had. And I'm reading this job description and I'm like, manages a team of people, responsible for a budget, creates community programming. And I'm like, I do all of these things. And it was just kind of wild to think something I had never anticipated being a part of was just so relevant to my life and what I was doing at that time. And so here we are. That was in 2017 that I had applied for this role working at the Thunder. And it has just been so fulfilling. Instead of just working for one mission, which you do in your nonprofit work, we're able to be a megaphone and work with so many different organizations and schools that I'm able to do so many things. It just fills my bucket every single day.
I mean, what a gateway for me to be so leaned into this conversation, Erin, that you come from the arts, you're my people, and you're using a new toolbox to engage and to accomplish the mission. Yeah, you're just such an incredible human for this moment. And I love that you have been there for a while and seen the uplift, because even somebody that's not a huge sports fan knows that the Oklahoma City Thunder is our community's story. Like, it's a reflection back to how our community is coming into its own and bringing the community along with it. And it's such like this beautiful crescendo that happened, I think, with the national championship last year. And so I would love to get your thoughts of how have you seen that success translate into energy, momentum, into all the community work that you're doing adjacent to the Thunder?
Yeah, really elevated platform, elevated purpose. That's just kind of what I go back to. When the team succeeds on the court, we're a basketball team. Of course, we want to win games. That's why they play basketball, but it amplifies our reach off of the court. So more eyes, more excitement, more opportunity to shine a light on all of the wonderful things that are happening here, not just in Oklahoma City, but really in our state. The same things that drive our team, resilience, and the things that fuel them just continues to remind us that we're bigger than basketball. And that's one of the things we talk about quite a bit, because regardless, although the championship is so exciting for all those things, there still could be years where we might not be winning all those games and we're not going to have that championship. And that's why our work in the community stuff that we're doing never changes. We're always going to we kind of look at legacy over headlines. We're building STEM programming, reading and literacy programs that continue to invest in a way that is long-term.
Hey friend, taking a quick pause to share about some of our amazing partners. Meet GiveButter, RKD Group, Whiteboard, and so on. These aren't just amazing partners for We Are For Good, they're value-aligned allies who are fueling and growing the Impact Uprising, and so of course we want you to know them. So if you are looking for a new CRM or a fundraising or marketing partner, maybe an impact strategist or a creative team, we'd love to make a warm introduction for you to one of our trusted partners. They happen to be powered by amazing humans too. You can check them out at weareforgood.com/Rex. That's weareforgood.com/RECS.
I just think the brand of the Thunder right now, like when we put our marketing hats, our marketers disguised as fundraiser hats on, I'm like, the brand of the Thunder right now is so electric. And it's not just because, in my opinion, it has this championship. It's because of how the championship was earned. And when we talk about values and we talk about culture, it has been building within the Thunder, and it has started with people on the front line. It was not as much about these players as it was about these people coming and investing in the community in a way that works for them. I've seen all manner of players diving into their personal philanthropies and whatever that is. But I just think you're creating such a lasting impact across Oklahoma, flexing this brand of community, of unity, of celebration, of looking around and saying, what can we do to make all parts of our community more vibrant? So talk a little bit about the overview of the Thunder Community Foundation. I've got to give a shout out to Christine Burney, my friend who used to run it. And yes, I adore her. But we want to know, tell us about your different programs. Tell us what lights you up and what you're seeing happening that's sort of behind the scenes from the media fray that we're all looking at on our phones and TVs.
I'm happy to lean into that. Shout out to Christine. I will just say Christine hired me. I'm a product of Christine.
Gosh.
I worked with her for a number of years, and actually filling her shoes after she left last year to pursue other dreams that she has. So I really have had this working knowledge of the Thunder and, everything that we do, the importance of what community means to this team. And that is really on ownership from day one. It is creating this culture for people to thrive, whether that is the players, the people that we're working with, is we want to see people be better. And it is just really, since the team's arrival, we've existed to strengthen and uplift the community. We often talk about ourselves as being a megaphone to tell other people's stories, because that's one of the things that we're the best at, right? Is we are this, not just the Oklahoma City Thunder, we represent the entire state, but we're also this global brand that has incredible reach. So whether that is through Thunder Cares, which is sort of our corporate philanthropy arm, the Thunder Community Foundation, or the players and the personal initiatives that they take on outside of the work that the Thunder as an organization is doing, is all really tied together. Because I don't think you can think of our longevity here in Oklahoma City without thinking some of the players that have been here before and the long-term impact that they've had. But I think that's also because of who we are as a community has embraced us back. So I think it makes it feel really easy for the players to want to do things, to want to be involved, because it's who we are as Oklahomans. Oklahoma City, you cannot escape the Oklahoma standard. I think that is one thing that I heard over and over coming out of the championship of all the people who came here to the city is, gosh, everyone is so nice. And that's not something that the Thunder built. That is just who we are at our very core. So it's incredible to think of all of these different verticals that are all woven together to create this hopefully lasting change and legacy's generational impact.
Yes, to all those things. And from growing up in Oklahoma, I think that's why there is such a point of pride when you see players recognize that and lean into that and add to it, and that's what's really endeared the community around this team on a deeper level as well. So, is there a story that lifts for you as you think about the programs, the heart of what the Community Foundation does? What's one you would lift for us?
When I try to think about 9 seasons of stories, there are so many moments through Thunder Cares, through the foundation, and through the players' personal philanthropy. For the foundation, we've built 31 basketball courts in communities across
I've been on
this
them. They're
state.
so amazing. I've been on one, and it is such an amazing, amazing court. Thank you for that investment.
We believe in the power of sports to transform lives. If there's a basketball court in your community, it's going to bring people together. And it is really special to see how we hear kids are playing until the lights come on after dark. It is just getting folks together. And one of my favorite stories is actually a court that we have in Boise City, Oklahoma. It's in the Panhandle. Over 5 hours.
Heard of this town. Oh my gosh.
5 hours one direction, away. And I love to tell this story because the women who were behind that foundation were relentless in their pursuit of a court for their town. And by the way, there are about 1,100 people in Boise City. And we met them, got to see the town, which is so cool, by the way. If you haven't been, you should surely go and visit. And we were like, yeah, it's actually Christine and I on that road trip. We're like, yeah, we got to build a court here. The way the community met us was just so amazing. And I love this story of the dedication. We bring all of our Thunder fanfare. It's never just a few people. From our Thunder drummers, our Thunder girls, our MC, DJ. We travel with busloads of people. And then we have the storytellers. So we have our communications team, broadcast, social. So we always travel in this large group to tell that story. And we took some buses up there. And when we got close to town, they actually met us, and we had a police escort in. We were treated like these VIPs. It was such a crazy experience. And when we had the ribbon cutting, we kind of take turns sharing a few words. And the representative there of Boise City was like, we've applied for grants everywhere. And the answer is always, you're out of our area of reach. And she's like, not to the Thunder. And everybody just went crazy. I was crying. I look at Christine. She's crying. It was just like such an impactful moment for what we were able to do for these women who had this idea to bring something to their town, to bring their community together in such a special way. There were notes on businesses like, we're at the Thunder Court dedication. It was like, was shut down. And it was such a wonderful day. That's so many of us, folks who are still here, we talk about that, like, what was your favorite court dedication? While they're all really impactful and meaningful, I can talk forever about, we have courts and more that we refurbished after the tornado. We have courts in McAllister, Lawton, Ardmore, here in Oklahoma City, Tulsa. They each represent really special asks and meaningful moments and what that brings to the community. But that's certainly one of my favorite stories about the foundation. And that's just the foundation piece. We could start to unpack all of our education programs and what those mean for students across the state, encouraging reading and literacy. That Rolling Thunder book bus.
That book bus, my kids have both been on that book bus, and it is an experience. It is not a bus. It is an experience.
It is an experience. It started out, actually, it was a bus. It was a school bus. And then we just saw over time that the school bus couldn't go very far anymore. And it needed some, we wanted to ensure that it was equitable experience for everybody who came on board. So it's actually now a truck and trailer, and it's ADA accessible. And so kiddos are able to come on the book bus, this trailer that's loaded with thousands of book titles. And if you're interested in sports, or if you're interested in STEM, or if you just want some fun reading about crunching through fall leaves, preparing for winter, there are so many book choices that kids get to come on and pick something of their own. And every book has a Thunder sticker in it. And so it's really cool to see them like sharing and talking, like, oh, what book did you choose? Oh, I got this book. I got a book about caterpillars, or, whatever it may be. And sure, of course, there are books about sports and basketball, and we'd love to see those get into hands of kids too. But we just want to encourage reading and literacy and sparking that moment. And that's one of the things that the Thunder can do, is just drive that excitement, whether that's with math and statistics through one of our programs, or through reading and literacy in STEM. That's all really exciting.
There are so many ways that I want to jump off here, because those stories.
I warned you.
I know. And I just think, like, friends, you are listening to how to build and sustain and stoke a movement, as Christine's talking, because not only do I hear our values in what you're saying, I mean, this ADA accessibility, everyone matters, everyone can come to the bus, but it is community is everything. When community meets you driving in, that is when you know you have something special. And there's two trends in the past that are just lifting for me that I want to lift again for everyone, which is one, media scales impact. And when you get something like the Thunder, and thank you for leveraging your marketing, thank you for leveraging your branding, your socials as you go to these places. That's one. But the other one was influencers, the power of how to tap creators and really increase influence, because the brand is an influencer brand. And what you are doing to really meet community in the middle. That boy's story is so epic because that to me is believers. When believers come in, they're going to put the sign up on the door that says, I'm going to the parade. You can ask John and Julie. We had a full slate of interviews scheduled for the We Are for Good podcast on a Tuesday during the parade, and I said cancel them all. We're going to have to reschedule all of them. I'm going to the parade.
Yeah.
But my point here is when you get someone who believes so deeply in something, they will drive miles to come see you. They will set up, they will bring their friends. And I just think what you're doing is powerful. And so I want to transition into this community partnership, because I'm sure there's a lot of nonprofits out there saying, how do I get a partnership with the community or with a brand like the Thunder or with someone else in my community? So you all work with schools, nonprofits, you've got corporate partners. What have you learned about what makes a partnership work long term?
We work with so many amazing nonprofit partners. I'm just so moved by the work that they do to fill the gaps every single day. They are truly inspiring what our nonprofit partners are doing here across the city and state. They're the backbone of our community, really. And so we're happy in those moments where we can come beside them to be that storyteller and to share their story on social media, even if that's going in with a player, or if that's going in with Thunder Girls, if it's for holiday assist and we're bringing in baskets of goods. But I think what makes a good partnership for us is it's shared values. And lasting partnerships aren't transactional. They're rooted in mutual purpose and trust. And so one of the things we talk about a lot is, what do our relationships look like? We need to be good listeners. We should be co-creating. Sometimes the way that we work can be just, we're a lot. I'll just say that we're a lot. We come in like the Thunder with these entourages of people. So it's really important, and I would hope that our partners think that we are good communicators and consistency, right? And we want to be sure that we are. The challenge in doing what we're doing is we want to share the Thunder love with more people, and at the same time, we want to be sure that we are showing up for the partners that we built these relationships with. And so one of the things we've talked a lot about this past season is, how can we go deeper with our relationships instead of wider, so that we can ultimately make more impact? It is difficult. And I think any nonprofit probably faces mission creep, right? You're like, oh, well, that sounds good. Let's do that. When you get to confetti philanthropy, it's really hard to drive impact when you're doing all of the good things. We want to do good things and do them really well. So we are exploring ways to continue doing the great things that we're doing, but to bring it in a little bit so that we can really drive impact in some core areas. And I'll just say, for us, flexibility is key, innovation, and our best collaborations evolve, right? So it's just staying in that constant contact and seeing where people are at. May not be at the same place. Their needs aren't the same this year as they were last year. So it's important that we are just, staying in close contact with what they need. And we track impact together, right? So as we're tracking our impact, hopefully they're able to track what we're doing with them as well.
Erin, I'll say it again for those in the back. You're so our people. I love the way you're moving through this world, how you are aligning on values, how you're choosing to go deep, not just wide. Wide gets into vanity territory. I feel like when we try to be everywhere all the time, but finding those intentional partners to go deep is the way. There's a lot of nonprofits listening today that may want to borrow something from your playbook, because friend, I can tell you've got a playbook for all of this. So we're kind of leaned in. What's a process or a mindset or a system that you would share to say, this really matters? Get this right, and it's going to unlock a lot of possibility.
Well, I think definitely is narrowing that impact. Leveraging storytelling. Data is so important in how you're using your data. And I don't mean just at the end of year recap, right, for your annual report. I mean, it's driving decisions really on a daily, weekly basis, if that is goal setting, or, recognizing if you have a program, where are we not? Where are we at with registrations now? So just really utilizing your data on a more consistent basis. And just aligning internally One of the things we talk a lot about is being authentic. And sometimes I think that's really hard to do, right? There's so many conversations we're listening to that it's easy for us to say like, oh, that sounds good. This is how they're doing it. We should do that. If it's not authentic to who you are, it's just so important to lead with being very intentional and authentic, even if that means it's going to take a little bit more time. That's something that we really think a lot about instead of just like eager to just jump into the next thing is really kind of evaluate to see if it's the right move for you.
I hear what you're saying. I see how it's represented, and you're doing it so well. And people feel so seen in it, and they are swept up, not just in the hype of winning. They're swept up in the good and the joy. We talk about joy as a vibe all the time. And particularly right now, like we all need something to celebrate. And I just think then the basketball is not just about basketball. It's about something that's so much bigger. And I just want to compliment you and the entire team. And I don't mean just like the players. I mean the Thunder team, who, by the way, if you don't think they live this as a culture, they gave, you know how that John, the players like come in their buses and we all are cheering for them. They put their staff in the parade, in a bus. And like we all cheered for them. It's not just the people on the front that we can see that make these movements happen. It is all about the people. And so I just want to say, we'll always be a Thunder fan. I live in Colorado now, but don't think I'm not going to a Nuggets game with my Thunder hat on.
Well, and that's what I like to hear.
You talked about story and how it lifts what you are doing into places that probably people would never know what you're doing unless you shared the power of what's happening on the ground. And we love to ask people about a moment of philanthropy that moved them, that stayed with them forever. And I'm wondering if there's a story of generosity, whether it's in this role or anywhere in your life, that you would like to share a story about.
I have so many amazing Thunder memories. It's oftentimes an entire season goes by and we'll be looking back on that season. I'm like, was that this year? Like, what, did that happen this year? One of the things I think about was this really special moment that happened between the players, Nick Collison, number 4, Mr. Thunder. Okay, this was my first season here, and it was the holidays. And we were on this shopping spree in a store. We've paired a kid up with a player, and they go through and they're navigating the aisles, and they're putting some things in their cart, and they're getting to know one another. And it's really special to see like these relationships build in this moment, that they're just talking to one another like they would talk to anybody, and they're telling stories. And they're about to leave, and the kid is eyeing this basketball goal. And the mom is like, oh, there's no room. Like we cannot get that basketball goal home. And he was like, I'll bring it to you guys. And he actually made the commitment himself, loaded up that basketball goal into his truck and took it to their house. And that is just like, I think about that story and in that moment, and he just wanted to ensure that that wasn't a reason, just like eliminating that smallest barrier for that family. Like, oh, you could have it, but we can't get it home. And he just jumped in at that moment and solved that problem. And it was such a cool thing. Those really special organic things that you can't plan for, right? Like we can plan really intentional moments with Make-A-Wish, hosting individuals to games, and it's very planned out, and we know it's going to be wonderful. And then there are these organic things that happen in the moment that were so unexpected that we all leave at night and we're like, oh my gosh, we're like, that was so neat, that was so special. And we don't always get to tell all of those stories, right? But we often get to see them as staff members behind the scenes. So sometimes there's so many other things that are happening that there's only so much you can show through photos and video. And but there's just like these really special things that happen behind the scenes, I think, that stick with me the most.
Nick Collison.
Sending you a massive fist bump. And I love it more that it wasn't part of the video. I love that
I was just thinking that too.
Was showing up for each other, loading up the pickup truck and driving it across town. How beautiful.
These guys are certainly really special. We love everything that we get to do as an organization, but that definitely is, there is so much that happens behind the scenes, and the players just add this extra really special moment that people can connect with, especially the kids, whether that could be on a book bus. One of our special visitors could be a player that day, and they're helping them select that book. It could be it could be on one of the basketball courts. There are just so many moments. We've played bingo in nursing homes, for example. I mean, there are just like so many things. We are just always looking for ways to plug into things that people are doing, just because we have Thunder fans of all ages everywhere, and not everybody's going to be able to get to a Thunder game.
Mm-hmm.
But the brand still resonates beyond the game because of the activations and things that we are planning. We say we're 365, whether we're on the court or off the court. Our community work doesn't stop because our community doesn't either. So while we are certainly, it is fun during the season because the guys are here, we are continuing to elevate nonprofits 365 days a year.
Yeah. And back to your words, it's just so authentic that it hits differently when it comes across in that way. So this conversation's so dang rich. I mean, we can't leave without asking for a one good thing, Erin. This is a piece of advice. This could be a life hack for you personally. What's something you would leave with our community?
Gosh, I would say consistency beats intensity. Even if it's sustainable, small acts of goodness can outpace one-time grand gestures, right? We love to do both of those things, but staying consistent. And if I'll add one more is lead with listening. I think that can be such a big challenge for anyone, whether you're corporate giving, philanthropy, nonprofit. If you're not listening to see what that need is, it's going to lead you down a different path. So I think those would be my two good things.
I love them both. And I will just say the lead with listening, that is a phrase marked with humility and I'm so obsessed that you said that, because you have a brand like the Thunder who could embrace all the bravado and we are champions and this sort of, we have all the answers. And the fact that you ground and root in that we have to listen shows why you are so powerful and why people are so connected to you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It is the only way to reach sustainability, right? Like you're not going to be sustainable if you're not taking those measured steps and having that measured approach. Because like we talked about at the beginning, it's regardless of if we're winning or losing, it's this sustainable, measured approach that is going to take us through wherever we're at.
I'm just so proud of you, Erin. I'm so proud of your team. I'm proud to be associated with this city and this brand. People are going to want to connect with you, my friend. So how can listeners find you? Where do you hang out online? Give us all the deets.
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I think my email is on there. Shoot me a direct message. I just have to say, although I'm super happy to be the one talking to you guys today, we have a phenomenal team here at the Thunder that we could not do the work that we do without really inspiring, compassionate people here on the community engagement team, from leading our book bus, leading all of our education programs, helping players connect to the community. There are so many of us just on our team. But community impact is larger just than one department. It's this entire brand. It's in the mission for our staff, talking about taking our staff to the parade and things. It is a culture here because we all represent the brand. It is certainly, my department has the joy of being one of the ways that this team gives back. But every single person here is connected to the work that we do. So they are brand representatives every single day. And I think that they feel proud of the work that we do. They could be graphic designers, they could be whatever they're working on, is they're all part of our culture and how we give back. So I think we all feel very rewarded by the work that the organization does.
It's an incredible brand, an incredible story. I will just tell you that my now past grandmother in her late 90s was the biggest Russell Westbrook fan. And to watch her navigate in her assisted living, how to make sure that she was sitting in her chair for the Thunder, to watch Russ and watch that phenomenon happen, you have something really special on your hands. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for showing us what a vibrant brand can do for an entire community. Keep going.
Thank you all for having me. It has been just a real pleasure getting to chat with you guys. And we wouldn't be doing the work that we're doing without our amazing nonprofits that are here on the ground. Like I said, backbone of our community, Oklahoma Standard, working day in and day out tirelessly to improve the lives of others. We get these really wonderful moments to be part of what they're doing. And so that's where our heart really is.
I feel it.
Reflecting it back. So good. Thank you, friend.
Keep going.
Appreciate it.